Hey, can you hear me well?
I can hear you perfectly.
Awesome. So I hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, very good.
And I sent you the questions I wanted to ask. Hope they're okay.
Oh, great. I didn't see him because I haven't been online today. Did you send him this morning?
Yeah, midnight.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I'm good with any question. Just ask.
Okay, so what is Max's favorite part of being mayor?
He loves to do the visiting with people. He poses for pictures and he gets real excited. So all I have to do is say, "We're going to work." And he knows what that means. And he does a little cowboy hat pose, and we'll bring him into the picture so you can see him real quickly at a certain point. And
Okay.
he's used to being outside to do his posing and everything. So whenever we try to put him here on the couch, he's kind of like, "What?" But he's real cute, and he loves his job.
Does he have a favorite place in Idylwild?
Yes, we do. Pre-COVID, we would take him downtown every day to a particular area that's a retail area. It has great parking, and people would see him. And when I bring him to town, hundreds of people surround him. And so what we're doing right now is we're doing private visits at the mayor's house, or if somebody has an Airbnb, I can take him to a private location. But we're not trying to do the crowd gathering right now with 100 or 200 people.
That's a smart. Um,
Yeah.
I I left any COVID questions out because I didn't want to possibly cause any problems.
Okay. And I don't mind. Do you want me to restate that without even mentioning
No, no,
COVID?
no, it's fine. I just didn't know where you standed on COVID. Some
Yeah, yeah.
people,
I mean,
yeah,
I want to be respectful of other people, and I
yeah,
don't personally have any fear, but at the same time, other people are concerned, and we do have senior citizens and that kind of thing. So I just try to be respectful, and whatever the county or state guidelines are, we do follow them.
So, is it possible that Mayor Max may run for governor or president?
It's interesting that you should ask me that. I've had over 100,000 people at least ask him to run for president, and a lot of them are very serious. And I asked them, well, how exactly would that work? But what it did do is it caused me to think about it and think about, like, well, if he were president or governor, which he wouldn't be because I don't think he would get enough of the vote, and also because he's a dog, there could be issues. Although we actually looked into it, it doesn't technically say the president can't be a dog.
Precisely.
Yeah, and so it caused me to think about it though. So I decided to write a book, which I'm working on. I'm going to publish it next year, and it's Mayor Max, and the name of the book is If I Were President, and it will cover what he would do if he were president and how he would work on peace on earth. And I'm not kidding. It's exactly, because I'm his voice, it's exactly what we would do.
That sounds like an awesome book.
Yes, I think it will be. I think it'll be great because he's so kind and loving. And we basically feel that the responsibility for creating peace on earth lies with each of us individually in the actions that we do. Mayor Max's charter is to help make the world a better place by conveying unconditional love and doing as many good deeds for others as possible. And that's because he wants to help create peace on earth. So we only do kind and loving things for people, and we encourage people to do the same as well and not take the bait on hatred, and don't contribute to hateful energy. We believe positive energy leads towards life, well-being, and increased survival, and negative energy goes in the wrong direction, and it's the exact opposite of life. So the mayor wants to see everybody do well. We don't see any reason why we can't all live together and to do well. And I have very specific views on how I would repair relationships over time, and that we can solve our problems in any way that we want, except that it has to be positive. So there's no more negative energy or killing or anything like that to solve our problems. We got to use love to do it. We believe we should use love as the basis for everything that we think, do, and say.
How do you use love when someone only has hate?
It's interesting, but I've been able to convert my own heart to a loving heart. And well, how you begin to do that is you try. And so it can be difficult. Like this happened to me, and I'm not perfect at it, but I do feel that I fall into the category of what I call a living angel, and I'm asking everybody to act like an angel on earth. So what happens when, and so this happened to me the other day where I was something happened, I didn't like it, and I was a little bit angry. And I think it took me 3 days to convert my heart to a loving heart, but I can always do it. And mostly I can do it instantly now. So what you have to do is try, and you don't realize you have the capability till you use it. And then the more you use it, you go, oh my God, I truly am a loving and kind person that can have a positive impact on others, even in a difficult situation. And I had a person about 2 years ago now who decided that they didn't like me at all. And they were coming out on social media about that. And they just had an objection to my positivity, but then they got very hateful about it. And I know it's odd, but
I've ran into some very odd people on social media. It's just, I don't understand why people hate positivity.
Yeah, and so it's interesting, but I'll tell you why that is, and it's going to be, it's because negative energy is seductive. But so anyway, with this guy, I talked to him and I said, I want you to know, and I knew at that point he was going to say terrible things about us and make up things and do all kinds of terrible things, which he did. But I told him, and I meant it, and I never once took a single action against him or even came out and defended myself. I simply said to him on the phone, I said, I want you to know that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what actions you take, I'm returning it with love and love only. And I was able to do it. And it was hurtful, and to have to endure, the criticism. But I didn't get into any kind of negative energy on it. And so the thing is that one of my concerns for mankind at this time is that on social media, it's easy for people to be cruel, and they seem to enjoy doing that. And I believe that they're unwittingly, and they don't realize it, because most people are actually basically good, but they do actions that make it worse for the world, and they don't know that it's making it worse. They probably even think that if they're mean and hateful, they're proud of themselves because they're outspoken or whatever. But negative energy, just like God or an angel or Gandhi or Mother Teresa would only use love to handle any situation. I fall into the category of being the same kind of person. And so what I ask people to do is that it's always okay to communicate. You don't want to tell people they can't communicate, but that before they do, make sure they're saying it in a loving way. Because you could take any sentence, even like, hello, how are you? And you could say that from a million different emotions. You could say it from hate, anger, rage, love, affinity, cheerfulness, kindness, sadness, grief, despair. You could take any communication and present it from any emotion. So I'm asking people to, if you have something to say, and let's say you're critical of the government or your neighbor or just some person you don't know on social media, but you saw what they said and you have something you want to say, that don't say it until you just ask yourself, is that love? And if it isn't, don't say it, wait. And then sometimes it can take a few days to be able to do that. And so what I've done is I've created a new group. It's brand new. I haven't done anything with it but collect members. But I'm asking people to be part of Miramax's Peace on Earth team. It's called Poet, and it's where I'm asking people to be a living angel, to use love only as the basis for everything they think, do, and say, especially on social media. I think what happens when something bad happens to a person, and you could say life is challenging right now, so maybe people would say some of the things that are happening right now are bad a lot. And so what happens is it can take people down a little bit, and they become a victim to it, and they feel the effect of it, and wasn't a happy effect. And so then it's kind of like love begets love and hate begets hate, that kind of thing. So what you have to do is what we each have to do is we each have to take time to work on ourselves to make sure that we stay upbeat and creative and positive people, and that we are disseminating energy, positive energy into the world. Just like if a child fell down and scraped his knee, you would pick it up, comfort it, flow of affinity, and then you would comfort the child and he'd be back to being a happy child. And it's kind of like that. You know, you can save lives sometimes with just a loving smile. And by being positive, we can, all of us, create peace on earth. And frankly, if we all did it in a day, we'd have peace in a day. So it's just a matter of working on it. And as you work on it as an individual, you'll feel yourself transform to the point where I'm proud to say that, you know, most of the time I can create a positive effect for hundreds of thousands of people, and that I can behave properly as a living angel on earth. Okay, so I'm not perfect, and I don't expect anybody to be perfect. But if you try, it's the greatest adventure of my life, I would have to say, to find out that you can actually help people on such a broad scale, and so many. So, and I listen to it every day. Like I was just finishing my social media update for the day on what had happened since the last time I looked last night. And I had several people just tell me how much our communications mean to them, that they are getting them through this time, and that they come to our site for a spiritual boost that creates happiness and positive energy in their life.
That's great. Actually, I discovered your Instagram last night because I always like doing research before interviewing someone. And I realized you have a really visual storytelling way of telling things.
Yeah.
And I actually have something based off your Instagram I want to ask. What is Miramax's favorite drink at Dairy Queen?
Favorite drink?
Favorite anything at Dairy Queen?
Well, at the Dairy Queen, because the dogs can't have chocolate, we always get them a vanilla ice cream cone, which they adore. And then we get them the fried chicken too, and they love that. And normally the chicken they get at home is more low key and not as kind of crispy or maybe salty or whatever, but they just like, you know, drool for it. The mayor and he's got two deputies too. So that's what we do when we go to the Dairy Queen, and they love it. And the funny thing is, there's this one dear friend that we have that we met through social media, and she keeps sending us Dairy Queen gift cards. And so we can't even keep up. She sends so many, we can't even use it all. So now I've started to say in social media, if you want to meet us at the Dairy Queen, we'll share our Dairy Queen booty with you, because you know, we've got more money than we can use on that Dairy Queen card for the dogs, because I don't take them that often. I want them to, you know, live a long time. And you know, they even though it might sound like I take them to the Dairy Queen every day, I don't.
Oh no, it doesn't sound like that at all. It just sounds like you're being very giving and caring to the community of Idylwild.
Yes, our Miramax office is just a gift of love from my husband and myself. And we fund everything. There's no tax basis for it. But we do run a real mayor's office for Idylwild. So we have a 7x24 hotline telephone number that rings into the mayor's office and home. And we handle any call that comes up, and we get all kinds of calls, not just Miramax visits, which, you know, would be the lion's share of it, but it could be death in the family, it could be death of a pet, it could be I ran out of resources, I'm stuck in the snow, we can't find lodging. Do you know how I could sell my dog fence? You know, I just like, I mean, it's everything you can think of that, you know, when you take that many people and they have needs, and then we'll respond to everything one way or another. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So another question I had, it was, what's his favorite chew toy?
Okay, so right now he has a favorite toy. It's a stuffed animal fox, and it has like 30 squeakers in it. And he's had it for about a year, and he shreds it. He has other toys, but this toy is the one that he's had for over a year, and it's down to probably 12 squeakers now. And then he gets real frisky. Sometimes I post videos of it. It's like it's a real fox to him somehow, and that's his favorite. That's his favorite toy right now. But he loves his toys. You know, he'll give time to every toy, but the fox is his favorite right now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Does he have a favorite song?
Well, somebody wrote him a really darling song, and it's Max the Mayor of Idylwild, and I'd have to say it was probably that song. But it's not like he sits around listening to music.
No.
So he listens to things, and but
I,
yeah, that song is great.
sometimes my dog even reacts to music, so I know dogs
Yeah,
like music, but they don't pay a lot of attention to it.
yeah, and all the music that we play here is kind of mild. It might be a light jazz, or it could be just a mixed assortment of songs, but it's not. We don't ever play it real loud or anything. Loud music
For,
isn't welcome to a dog.
yeah, I have autism, so I hear outside the human spectrum, so I can hear
Uh-huh.
things dogs hear,
Mhm. Yeah,
like dog whistles. They're
yeah,
so painful.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So
It's
I'm very careful with sound
yeah.
with dogs.
Yeah, we had our smoke alarm go off yesterday, and
Ooh.
it was just because we were cooking something that it was a little bit too burnt, and uh, and it was so painful even for my ears. And I just thought, because it was such a high pitch and so loud. But then I thought, well, if you were sleeping, it would definitely have awakened you. So it's good that it's like that. But I thought if it was painful to me, I'm sure it was very unpleasant for the dogs. But we got it out. So
Right.
yeah.
That's good. So you just said you listen to light jazz. Have you ever heard the song "Who Let the Dogs Out"?
Yeah, of course. It's fun. I love that song actually.
Do
Who
you,
let the dogs
who
out?
who? The question is, who did let the dogs out? Can
You mean how did they become the mayor?
no?
Or
Who let the dogs out? They never explained that.
oh yeah, that's right. That's true. They didn't. They didn't. Yeah, that's funny. It's
Did Mayor
cute.
Max let the dogs out?
No, he would if he could. I mean, the one thing about the mayor, he has kind of learned how to open doors a little bit, so you gotta pay attention and make sure doors are actually latched and that kind of thing. But they do love to get out, but we've got good control on that. We happen to live in a high desert area where we have rattlesnakes and things like that, mountain lions, and so we have to be careful when they're out, so that we have a protected area that's fenced, and we check it before we let them out to go for a run and that kind of thing, and make sure they're safe all the time.
I've been very close to Idylwild many times, but I'm never able to get up there because you guys always have the passes or either have a rock slide or
I
snow
know.
or something.
I know there's always something. Right now they're doing road construction too, where they're trying to fix some of that sliding stuff and things that happen. So that's been going on. I got stuck in it yesterday, and I almost didn't make it to where I was going. It's a 20-minute delay right now, but that's all. But at the
But
same time, it's there.
last time I was there, it would be a 2 or 3 hour delay to get up there. So that's a way big improvement.
Yeah, and during the fire, when the flood, I mean, we lost two of the main roads to Idlewild. So for me to get there, I had to do like a 4.5 hour drive. And at the time, I was, we're always trying to cheer people up. I try to have the mayor downtown every day, and it was a long drive, to get around everything and to get in there. So that it does happen, but the roads are clear right now, and except for the 20-minute construction delay, which isn't every day, but it's every other day right now.
So I noticed he likes vegetarian bacon. Does he like original bacon taste or the Canadian bacon taste?
Well, he likes them both, and frankly, he loves original bacon too. But I try to limit, because my husband and I are passionate humanitarians. We are also passionate animal rights activists, and we believe animals should have rights, and we don't believe in killing animals. So but the dogs are not 100% vegetarian, but my husband and I are, and we try to create the least amount of damage for the planet. Like if I have to cut down a tree, which fortunately I haven't done, I make a big donation to the Arbor Foundation. I have them go plant more trees, or I'll replace the tree or whatever. I try to create no harm or minimal harm on the planet, and so I don't, like if people want to bring the mayor a bunch of bacon, I would request that they love bacon, but if you could make it vegetarian bacon or do something vegetarian, that would be better, for them, just so that we don't kill so many pigs. So
So So, I was a vegetarian for 8 years, but it got to the point where I'm using so much energy during the day that I wasn't able to find enough protein. So I'm still vegetarian and vegan a lot, but I do eat fish once in a while because I have to have that kick once in a while when I'm
Yeah, I totally get it.
acting and running. So,
Right. I totally understand. And for me, if I went back to eating meat, I'd start with fish and then I'd go to poultry before I would do beef. You know what I mean? I kind of have what's my least harm way to do that. But
and I
for
have
me,
this whole list of which fishes are the least endangered and which fishes are the best taken care of. So I only eat those.
yeah, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And for me, being a vegetarian is like religion or politics. It's a personal thing. It's what, everybody's on their own path for what works for them. I was not raised a vegetarian, but
Me
when,
neither.
yeah, and in fact, we were the opposite. We had meat every single day. Let's see, I've been a vegetarian since 1985, and then I've been vegan as well. And that's just me, And so I try to. The mares have a nice balanced diet, but they do have meat for part of it. So when I think about their diet, I try to think about a natural diet. Now, my dogs also love to eat pine cones, sticks, reeds, grass, any kind of lots of plants. They don't just eat meat; they eat all kinds of plants too. So, and they love apples and they love carrots, and so they get kind of a variety on their diet.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if we already covered this, but you said that he does things between 2 to 5 on the weekends.
What I've been doing right now for the private visits, we never say no. So when somebody calls and they want to see the mayor, if possible, I try to schedule it between 3 to 5, especially Monday through Friday, because my husband and I work regular jobs and we try not to impact the workday too much. So we try to push it toward the end of the day. But if a person cannot do that, then we have them come at whatever time works. And then if it works out, like, let's say, if I have to go into town for pick up groceries or get my mail and that kind of thing, and I know that I'm going to be downtown around 2, and if the person has like an Airbnb that they're staying at, I'll schedule the visit at their location privately. But I don't know, what I'm avoiding right now is just the downtown open area. Here's the mayor coming over. Because in COVID, I tried that one time, and I had a visit scheduled with 2 people. I had about 75 people surround the truck in seconds, and no one had a mask on, not one.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I
so then I ended off on that. And so now it's all controlled and people wear their masks, and I've got the schedule. And today, we have people scheduled all over the weekend. There's some people where 3 to 5 didn't work. And we have 6 or 7 groups scheduled for today. We have several for tomorrow. The earliest one tomorrow is 1 o'clock. And everybody else fit into 3 to 5. And so that's what we're doing. But we never say no to a visit, ever. And so it's we don't want to disappoint people at
does
all.
he like cheer people up, or what's
Yeah.
the main
Yeah.
purpose of his visit?
Well, first of all, they want to meet him because he's the mayor. It's like meeting a celebrity.
Hmm.
And then they want to meet him, and it's fun. And so we put the mayor in the back of his pickup truck, which is parked. And then he stands up and he does a darling little pose, which you can see in pictures on social media. And then he loves to wear a cowboy hat. And then I take the pictures so they get the pictures with them. And then I take them over to the deputies, and everybody gets to feed them some treats. We have diet treats for the dogs, so they're less than, like, they're 2.5 calories, so they don't get fat from it or anything. And everybody gets to pet the dogs, get pictures with the dogs, feed the dogs treats, get to see them in their outfits, get to see Max in his cowboy hat. The deputies won't wear hats. They shred hats. Max will wear a hat and then shred it. Okay, but he'll wear it. Okay. But the deputies, the minute there's something on their head, it means shred, So I put little vests on them with coordinated ties. Max wears a tie every day to work. He's got a couple thousand of them. And then I give ties to people if they have a dog or if they have a little kid who wants a tie. And then I officially deputize them. And they become deputy mayors representing Idylwild in their area to help the mayor with his charter, to help make the world a better place by conveying unconditional love and doing as many good deeds for others as possible. So
That's great. The more love, the better.
yeah, that's right.
Like I was upset about something and I was negative energy the other day, but later I came to realize, okay, well, I can convert this to positive and focus on this in a different way because
Yeah.
negative can be converted to positive.
It can. Oh, totally. I mean, you can, with love, it's, and maintaining a loving heart, it's difficult for somebody to maintain hate. They can do it, but when you're in close physical proximity, if you look for the infinite peacefulness of their soul and you flow love to them, it can disarm a lot of hatred. I'm not saying,
Yeah,
in 100% of the cases, there could be situations, and I thought about that, like there can be situations where it's more difficult, and so, but if you try, you can do it most of the time, and it's to your benefit. When you have, and I'm sure you've felt positive energy before, but affinity and, somebody admiring you and enjoying your work or whatever it is, you can feel just the positive energy of that. That creates, harmony and good energy into the body and can even, cure illness, in my opinion, the positive energy. Okay. But when you get negative, it screws up the body, it screws up the spirit, and you want to stay out of that, no matter how tempting. And so you just always work on converting yourself. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And it can be difficult at times.
okay. I respect your opinion. I don't know how positive energy can cure illness.
It's just a theory I have, but I definitely, it's kind of like, if you instinctively, if somebody has a pain, they'll put their hand to where that pain is. And that puts a little bit of, a warmth to that area. And sometimes that little pain will go away immediately just from that touch. And that's kind of an example of a physical example of, positive energy. I have it's just an idea and I could be completely wrong, but I do know this. I do know negative energy will create illness, believe me. And so if negative energy can create illness and unhappiness and sorrow and etc., then it seems to make sense that it could go in the opposite direction. I mean, I know if somebody was ill, I would help them with, a touching process and, oh, hello, puppy, and affinity and, calmness and that kind of thing. It's just an idea.
It's a very interesting idea. And
Yeah.
this is Zoe.
Oh, Zoe. Oh, and hey, Glenn, could you bring Mayor Max over to meet Zoe?
Hey,
Max.
you wanna meet a dog? Yeah.
Yeah, Max is coming over. Mr. Mayor, come on over, buddy. Okay, he's doing the stretch right now. Yeah, here he comes. Max, we're going to meet Zoe. We're going to meet Zoe on the computer screen. Here we go, buddy. Oh, here he comes. He looks very cute. Right here. Max, he's got his tie on. Here we go, buddy. Come on up. Here we go. Good boy. Max, look
Hey,
at Zoe.
look. Uh,
See Zoe?
Zoe, look, a dog.
Look, Max, see Zoe? No, over here. Right here, Max. Max, look, right
A
here.
dog, see?
Oh, Max, look at the screen. There, he saw her. He saw her.
Awesome. I think she saw him too.
Good. He definitely saw her. Oh, you're a good dog. Good boy.
And he's wearing a tie right now.
Yes, he wears a tie to work. Here we go, buddy. Sit down for a minute. Here, why don't you just sit down for one
So,
second?
do you or Max believe that presidents who have dogs are maybe unknowingly influenced or advised on presidential matters by their dogs?
I doubt it, but they could have a positive influence. I mean, I do think pets, the good ones, have a very positive influence on people. And, you start to wonder when somebody says they hate dogs, you kind of wonder about could that possibly mean, And so I doubt if they advise, but they probably do create positive energy though, and that does help. So.
Positive energy can influence, is what I was thinking.
Yes, exactly. I do think that that's a distinct possibility. No question about that. So,
So,
and with me, with the whole thing that came on with Mayor Max, and when they decided to have an election to elect Idylwild's first mayor, And you could only run your dog or your cat. You had to be a local resident, full or part-time, but you couldn't run yourself, but you could run your dog or your cat. And 14 dogs and 2 cats ran in the election. But what I did at the time, and I go, okay, well, if my dog's going to be the mayor, what would he say? And I tried to put myself literally in his head. And I go, the answer came back, it's unconditional love. He's a golden retriever. If he's at a hospital or school or nursing home, he knows how to convey love and do the right thing and, and positive energy and all that. And I go, okay, his charter is going to be about love. And that I believe came from him, even though it was me going, well, what would he say? And that's what I think he said.
Yeah,
So,
like Zoe, sometimes I talk to her and she gives me this look and, tries to comfort me by looking at me. And I'm like, okay, so she's calm. And, so I try to figure out what my dog's thinking too.
yeah. And I know too, like if the stress levels go up in voices over here, like if some situation or whatever, I'll see Max immediately kind of go into alarm, and I go, oh, we're upsetting the dog, so we got to dial it down. And so they're good that way. They like only positive energy, and they get upset if there's negative energy.
If